Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into the 143. This is Under Review. We're coming at you live with episode 195. Nick, how we doing today?
Doing good. In the midst of the NFL season, still kind of an early overreactions going on, but we're seeing a lot of teams mellow out, a lot of teams pick up, but there's a lot of things going on that we're here to talk about and let you know.
That we are. Let's jump in. Stat of the week brought to you by Andrews Logistics. This is an interesting stat that Nick saw and that we fact checked before we brought it to you just to make sure that what we were seeing was correct. Ja'Marr Chase has had 5 total tackles this season, 5 solo tackles, that is, because his quarterback Jake Browning stinks and only throws to the other team. And Micah Parsons only has 4 solo tackles this season. So Ja'Marr Chase, one of the best receivers in the NFL, is leading the solo tackle run against Micah Parsons right now. That stat says more about Jake Browning than anyone else, really. So just tough for Ja'Marr Chase having to tackle the other team all the time. But very interesting stat.
Yeah, but just something to think about with Micah Parsons on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. Maybe he's not that valuable.
Player of the
Chase is
week
doing it.
was kind of an interesting one. You have Chuba Hubbard not playing, and so Rico Dowdell steps up, and he rushes for 206 yards and a touchdown. Caught 3 passes for 28 yards, but, I mean, that's pretty huge. Like to see him succeed, because he was a Dallas Cowboy, and he's on the Panthers, so the Panthers don't really pose a threat to anybody, but, nice to see him getting some production on the field. And 206 yards, that is very impressive.
That is college numbers right there.
In a Panthers win, so they look to be on the up and up, but, good for him.
Yeah, we're not trying to jinx anything, though. I mean, you've got the Panthers this weekend against the Cowboys. Hopefully he doesn't have one of those games and the Cowboys can shut him down, but you never know with this horrendous defense. Thursday Night Football, 49ers, Rams. We have an interdivision game. Niners were down all their receivers, basically. Brock Purdy's out. But you got to be careful with these interdivision games. Everybody thought it was going to be a blowout for the Rams. The 49ers end up winning in overtime on a Rams decision on 4th and 1 at the 49ers, at least in the red zone at like their 5 or 6 yard line, I think. And the Rams did not get the first down, and it ended the game. You got to appreciate McVay trying to go for the win and not the tie there, but probably should have kicked the field goal in hindsight, obviously. But Mac Jones had a career day. He threw for 300 yards. Kendrick Bourne had 100-plus receiving yards. And obviously Christian McCaffrey is the 49ers offense right now, and he showed up and showed out with another over 100-yard all-purpose game. Great Thursday Night Football game. That's all we ever ask for is just a good game on Thursday Night Football, and we got it this past week. So, yeah, good game for Mac Jones.
Both the Rams and the 49ers looking good. You got to give credit to the 49ers because they have been winning in spite of some interesting conditions. Mm-hmm. They've had, a bunch of players offensively for them constantly going in and out of being injured and being not injured. But then, credit to the guys who are stepping up and playing. They move on to 4-1. The Rams offense should be a lot more lethal than it is just because of the weapons that they have, but defense looks pretty solid, but when it came down to it, they just couldn't win, those big plays. I don't think they have a lot to worry about. They've got all the tools there to be successful. They were in this game up right until the end, and then their first loss of the season against the Eagles, they were in it right until the end. So
yep.
They're going to be fine for the future. But we don't see a lot of good primetime games. That's been one of our complaints that we've had the last couple of years. So
yes, it has.
We were pretty pleased with the product we saw on Thursday night. So thank you for scheduling that one for us.
Yeah, honestly, for the most part, this weekend, primetime games delivered in terms of being good games. Talk about a 12 o'clock game. Broncos, Eagles. We're just going to skip past this one as the Eagles get handed their first loss of the season. The Broncos were down. I forget how many points. They decided to come back. I think they were down. Yeah, they were down 17-3, and they came back with
Touchdown.
Bo Nix. Yeah, all fourth quarter. Scoring in the fourth quarter, and props to Sean Payton for going for two instead of kicking an extra point to go up one. Later on, go down the field, field goal, and forces the Eagles offense to operate in a 2-minute drill.
You go up 4, kicking that go-ahead or the field goal to go up by 4, and so now, rather than them only having to go 30 yards downfield to kick a field goal to tie it and send it to overtime. Now they got to drive the length of the field to score a touchdown.
Using passing, which is something that's not, they can't push their way all the way there.
Very interesting game plan from Philly, as they pretty much didn't use Saquon Barkley at all. He had like 6 carries for 30 yards.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think it was 5 carries for 30 yards, but that's just not. They're playing off-brand football for them. That's not really how they win games. Not that I care.
Not that we're complaining. Yeah, we're not complaining.
But they could very easily. They're a 4-1, but it's a very fortunate 4-1. They could very easily be an 0-5 right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of turmoil in the locker room right now. Receivers aren't happy because they're realizing
it happens every year with AJ Brown.
Their quarterback is a running back. They want the ball, but he's not going to throw it to him. All he's going to do is run because he doesn't know how to throw. And, he just likes getting pushed across a pile for 1 yard and getting a rushing touchdown. So I'm glad that this game wasn't a primetime game. And unfortunately, this Thursday night, we have Eagles-Giants. I probably won't watch that game, to be honest with you. And just an awful Thursday night game. First of all, the Giants should never be in primetime. We've said it once. We'll say it again. And the Eagles are not a fun primetime team to watch. They obviously make sense because they're defending champs. But, just an awful Thursday night game coming up. And I just hate watching the Eagles play football. So it was great to see them lose to the Broncos. Cowboys-Jets, there's not a whole lot to say here in terms of the Jets are the worst team in football right now, and the Cowboys put a beating on them. You love to see that happen. Obviously, the defense gave up some garbage time points.
Good to see the offense commanding, as usual. We mentioned it the last couple of weeks. That's been the highlight of the Cowboys season thus far, is the offense doing work. Obviously, this is all without CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens really stepped up the last couple of weeks. And then Ryan Flournoy, who these last 3 weeks without CeeDee Lamb has
been a dog.
His usage has slowly escalated up to where he had 114 yards this last weekend. We even handed it off to him twice, and he took it for 10 yards. So, hey, way to get him the ball. Did see Jaden Blue out there for a couple carries for 7 yards. All right, look, here's the thing. We've got Jaden Blue and Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams has proven himself as the number 1 back, okay?
He needs to be getting at least 15 carries.
I said it a couple weeks ago, and I feel like we've been saying it a lot. I understand that we have those other guys, but to me, Javonte Williams has proven that he is the guy, so he needs to be taking the majority of the carries.
Miles Sanders can be your third down back, but Javonte Williams needs to be the guy. Like I said, I think the defense played better, but I'm going to partly attribute that just to the fact that the Jets' offense is terrible. But it was nice to see it not be 37-34 or something like that. So a lot of stuff I've been seeing this week on these talk shows that think they know everything is Dak Prescott, he's playing at an MVP level. I feel like a certain podcast said that last week, and now everybody's acting like they just, discovered that Dak Prescott's playing really well this season. We've been saying it for a while. Dak Prescott is looking like the MVP right now.
What you have to look at also with the last couple weeks, he's doing this without his number 1 weapon, without his number 1 wide receiver.
And four starters on the offensive line were out.
Yeah.
This week we had another offensive line basically and Dak was still dealing. You got to give props to the offense. Shoddy's calling a great game right now, and love the way that it's going. Obviously, we've got the Panthers this next week. We need to win that one, but good win for the boys as they go into MetLife, and Dak owns MetLife, so it was good to see that.
Jets, I believe, now are the only team without a win. I believe,
Yes.
because the Titans won. We'll just brush on that for a quick second. There's not a whole lot to talk there, but once again, you have a player who, DeMarcado, he takes in
For the
what should have
Cardinals.
been a 72-yard touchdown, breakaway touchdown, drops the ball at the goal line. It's a touchback. The game was 21-6 at that point, so that would have been icing on the cake to put it away. Long story short, the Titans come back and end up winning that game.
In the weirdest way
22-21
possible.
with a tipped pass that was picked, fumbled, kicked around,
Into the end zone.
kicked into the end zone. Tyler Lockett dives on it. They get a touchdown. But this is the second week in a row we have had somebody drop the ball prematurely to the end zone. It'd be a touchback, and then it later cost the team the game. We had Adonai Mitchell do it against the Rams, and then now you've got DeMarcado against the Titans.
It's inexcusable as professional football. Honestly, at any level, like from junior high on, to be
It just
dropping the
doesn't make
ball before you get to the end zone. And you would think that coaches were showing their teams the Adonai Mitchell one, being like, this better not happen to us. Actually, Jonathan Gannon, the head coach for the Cardinals, put hands on DeMarcado, kind of smacked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and smacked him. He got fined today by the NFL for that. I thought it was perfectly fine. He's a coach, and the guy's wearing pads. He smacked him in the chest. I don't know, what you want. Do you want him to hold his hand? What are we supposed to? It's okay, buddy. That happens. No, you're a professional football player. You get paid millions of dollars. You had a wide open run that you took to the house and then dropped the ball and gave him possession. So I'm on Gannon's side on this one as a head coach who, frankly, Gannon's head's on the chopping block right now.
And you're fighting for wins. You've been struggling in the running back room, and obviously
he busted one out
the way you want, but should have gotten it. The Titans have not looked good this season, and so that should have been an easy win for you guys, and then just throw it all away.
No, they gifted him the win. Crazy game, weird game, but Cardinals get the loss nonetheless. Probably one of the best games this weekend, Buccaneers, Seahawks. We see Baker Mayfield yet again lead his team to a last-minute win. This game was back and forth with Jackson Smith-Njigba, Ime Udoka, as they were just flying across the field. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba finished with 132, 8 catches, 132. Igbuka finished with 7 catches, 163, and they both had a touchdown apiece. Former Ohio State receivers just back and forth. But the Buccaneers get the win, last-second field goal. So
very, once again, Baker Mayfield with his game-winning drive. But what the bigger story would be Sam Darnold with the game tied. They had a chance to go drive down and win it. Throws a costly pick at the end of the game to essentially give it away to Tampa Bay after having a couple drives before. They drive down and he makes a clutch pass to put the Seahawks up, threw it to his tight end, and then to just come back and throw a pick. That's brutal. They had been back and forth, and then just give it away right at the end. Very interesting uniform matchup. I know Joseph doesn't like the creamsicle from Tampa Bay. I'm personally
not a fan.
of it. Wouldn't like it every week, but I think it is cool to have a vintage matchup.
I like the Seahawks jerseys.
Is sweet, but that's just a little bit of added flair to the weekend. JSN, Egbuka looking like some nasty young weapons out of Ohio State. They once again proved themselves to be wide receiver university. Baker Mayfield is just looking incredible this season. week in, week out, it just looks like he's getting better and better and better. He's found himself a home in Tampa Bay. They were missing Bucky Irving, who's a central piece to that offense.
Yep.
Mike Evans goes down. They didn't have Chris Godwin for the beginning of the season, and with all those
Didn't
people
matter.
in and out kind of revolving door situation, it hasn't mattered for Tampa Bay because they've had Baker Mayfield back there, steady team leader, and he's been winning games for them. And so, you like to see him be successful, and then maybe the Bucs be successful, because they had that 1 year of Tom Brady where they won the Super Bowl, but for the most part in our lifetime, they've been kind of a horrible franchise. And then Baker Mayfield underwent a lot of scrutiny in Cleveland, and now he is proving that he was not the problem in Cleveland.
Nope, he was not. Cleveland is still a quarterback carousel, and Baker is living his best life out in Tampa. So, Sunday Night Football, Patriots-Bills, another interdivision matchup. Bills are heavy favorites. Patriots come in, steal the win on a late field goal. Story of this game was Drake May and Stephon Diggs. Their connection, as Stephon Diggs had 10 catches for 146 yards, Drake May with 273 passing yards. They look really good. Drake May's starting to really come alive as the second-year quarterback for the Patriots, and you can't really count the Patriots out this season. They're 3-2. We said they were going to be a lot better with Vrabel as their head coach, and it looks like they've had a complete culture change, and they're playing some good football right now. This is probably more about the Patriots and less about Buffalo.
They went into Buffalo and beat the undefeated Bills, who have been steamrolling teams. Obviously, they struggled a little bit against the Saints, but then there at the end, they pulled away last week. Drake May looking like a solid quarterback option for them. Didn't really think too much of him. Coming out of North Carolina, I thought he would be okay, but he's seemed to have progressed to be pretty dangerous. And then Stephon Diggs, looking like his vintage self. He had struggled a little bit in his early onset part in New England, comes into Buffalo and lets everyone know what they were missing out on. Honestly, did not have a lot of high hopes for this game. I thought that New England was going to come in, not really put up that good of a fight. Beginning of the game, start off kind of slow, a lot of turnovers, and then just not a lot of good offense being played. But then second half comes out, and both quarterbacks are duking it out. You love to see it. Drake May with a few very, very impressive rollout throws to the sideline to Stephon Diggs. I mean, their connection was absolutely insane over the weekend. Like, there was that one where he's rolling to his right and throws it like 40 yards downfield or whatever it was, and Stephon is like, toe dragging way down in the red zone and somehow catches it. So, love to see them be successful. It's been a long time coming since Tom Brady left, and then Vrabel's come in and immediately, turns the franchise around. Obviously, it's week 5, so a lot can change between now and January, but at least with what they have right now, the defense is always good for New England. I don't know what it is, but they just always have a pretty good, solid defense, and now it looks like they've at least got some offensive weapons. Their running back room is supposed to be somewhat decent with the addition of Travion Henderson, and then you just got to have Drake May pulling it all together, and he was, that's what he was doing on Sunday night. So you just hope that's sustained success. They're hot-ish, I'd say, the last 2 weeks. They beat up on the Panthers pretty bad last week. They put 44 up on them or something like that. I don't remember.
It was 42, but yeah.
And then they come the next week and win in Buffalo. That's pretty huge. So we'll see if they can carry on that momentum next week.
Yeah, another team that's kind of surprised people. They're sitting at 4-1 now. Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Chiefs in kind of a weird game, Monday Night Football. Trevor Lawrence with a falling down, getting back up, rushing touchdown with about 20 seconds left in the game to seal the deal for Jacksonville. Just a weird game all around. Trevor Lawrence threw a pick in the Chiefs' red zone, or in the Jags, like the red zone for the Chiefs, essentially, which allowed the Chiefs to score a touchdown late in the game, and then the Jags get the ball back, and they march down the field and score with 20 seconds left. Not enough time for Mahomes and the Chiefs to get into field goal range, and that was the game. Big game from Trevor Lawrence, and Patrick Mahomes had over 300 passing yards, but was not enough to overcome the Jacksonville
Jaguars. He threw a
Jaguars.
99-yard pick six, which was kind of at that point. At that point in the game, it was it was 14, it was 14-14.
Yeah.
And then he throws a pick six to go down by 7. And so that's kind of
what did it.
Complete momentum shifter, because you go from what should have been you scoring a touchdown to go up and put the pressure on Jacksonville. Now you're down a score and you have the ball back and the pressure's on you. Credit to Jacksonville. You know, they went down 14-0, start the game, and then fought back, and then obviously a game-winning drive, and they milked the clock just enough to where Kansas City didn't have enough time to do anything with it. Trevor Lawrence, whom we have been very, very critical of on this show, I will admit, he has looked pretty good to start the season. And, I mean...
It's Liam Cohen, man. Liam Cohen's a quarterback whisperer. He did it with Baker and Matthew Stafford in L.A. He did it with Baker in Tampa, and he's doing it with Trevor Lawrence now. Liam Cohen's a good head coach.
And, I mean, I understand that Kansas City's not looking like their normal selves, but, I mean, to beat them is no small task, because you have Patrick Mahomes.
They're a great defense, too.
Obviously, they were playing, they were playing with Xavier Worthy, who has been just a beast, just an absolute weapon since they've had him, but he was he'd been struggling a little bit with injury as he got decked by Travis Kelce in week 1. But he was playing on Monday night, and so they had him back. So that was, interesting to see. But Jacksonville, sneaky 4-1. Didn't really see it coming, but good
tied for first in the AFC South right now.
Starting off hot.
Yep.
Speaking of hot, the polar opposite, you had the Chargers, who fell to 3-2 against Washington. Pretty unfortunate for them. Want to see Justin
still early.
And Harbaugh succeed, but it didn't happen. And then I guess in bigger-ish news today was Joe Flacco gets traded from the Browns to the Cincinnati Bengals. And, we were talking about it the other day that I guess the Bengals are still in a position to where if they can just get somebody who can win them a few games to where they'll hang in there till Joe Burrow gets back. I mean, you could not very easily make the playoffs, but that is still, an opportunity. There's an opportunity there, but
for sure,
Jake Browning was supposed to be good. I mean, he looked okay whenever he came in. Was that last year?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago when Joe got
2 years ago, that's right.
He came in and they won a bunch of games with him at quarterback. Obviously not enough, but
and then
he's been bad this year.
He won the very, very first week when he came in to replace Joe, and so you think, okay, maybe we can with this guy, but then after a couple awful weeks back to back, it's like, not going to win games with this guy. Got to go get somebody else. We were saying Jameis. We were saying throw Jameis in there. But, either here or there, good for them. Want to see the Bengals succeed because they've just got so much offensive talent, but they're just wasting it away. Joe Flacco might lose his life back there with the offensive line that they have, but I do think that is definitely an upgrade just because you'll get better decision-making. Here's in our shows on Under Review, brought to you a quote from the Vince Lombardi, and he said, "A winner is a dreamer who never gives up."
Ain't that the truth? Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week, another episode of Under Review.